Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, the 5th day of May. It is Cinco de Mayo.
Yes,
so
it
a lot of folks
is.
celebrate that. But did you also know it's National Astronauts Day?
I did not.
Out of this world, man. National Cartoonist Day.
Okay.
National Silence the Shame Day. National Totale Chipotle Day.
Okay.
National Hoagie Day. National Bike to School Day. National Skilled Trades Day. And National Interpreter Appreciation Day.
All right.
And I'm excited because I'm working on an interview that I get to do today for National Skilled Trades Day, but I'm going to be doing it after our show is done. So, do you remember Cliff Clavin?
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to actually record the interview today, but we're going to hear it later this week. But today's
actually
the only
really
time I could
awesome.
do it was after our show. But I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. So, definitely. So, get out there and celebrate National Skilled Trades Day today. And I do have a guest today as well. I have Matt Kunitz. He's the executive producer of a show called Wipeout. It's on TBS TV, and it's back. New executive producer, new reimagined version. He's got a lot of other stuff. He's the king of reality TV. We're going to chat with Matt Kunitz coming up in a bit today.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. A new survey finds that after a turbulent 2020, 4 in 5 millennial parents are completely reevaluating how they parent their children. Okay. So if there's any positive thing that could come from a rough year last year, a lot of parents spent more time with their kids, which is a cool thing. And they're going,
a very good
you know what? I think maybe you need to quit doing this and you need to quit doing that. So hopefully something positive can come from that. Despite the negative reputation, a new study finds that gossip can actually be a good thing for some people to spread. The study reveals that gossip can actually serve to create social connections. While many people associate gossip with trading negative secrets, researchers add it can also include small talk online, like having a private Zoom chat, and are saying that sometimes those are positive things as well. So it's not always negative. So there you go. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. The evidence was as plain as the cocaine on his face.
Oh,
North Carolina man found with a powdered nose behind bars on drug possession and other charges. Confiscation and confrontation happened last Tuesday. Property damage call is what started everything. An officer arrested 30-year-old Jamichael Walton for fleeing on foot, as well as pulling away and kicking after he was cuffed and stuffed into a squad car. It says he was also threatening an officer. He says, "When I get out, I'm going to shoot up this car and y'all."
Oh, boy.
Don't say that. It's a bad idea. Hit with a fourth charge, felony possession of cocaine. He had it all over his face.
This is his fourth charge of cocaine possession.
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
Being held in lieu of a $12,500 bond, scheduled for court today, actually. His docket sheet includes 2 other separate pending cases, one for marijuana possession, another one for reckless driving, while his license was revoked due to a prior impairment for driving, where he was impaired while driving.
Where was this?
In North Carolina.
So you got to wonder, what exactly does it take to get these people off the streets?
And it's not just there; it's all over the place.
I know. I just don't understand.
And there's got to be a fine line on the right side and the wrong side. But here's the thing: never, ever, ever operate a vehicle while you're under the influence.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a bad idea. That is brought to you right now. I'm sorry. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs, and that is brought to you by timeforrehab.com. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com. Alex Rodriguez, is he still dating J-Lo, or those two are officially separated
I think
now?
they separated.
So he is back in the news. He posted some before and after pics of his weight loss with the caption, "Left the dad bod in 2020." So apparently being single decided. So he's,
you know what? Being in a relationship does add some
oh, yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, you and I got married. I've gained like 100
Oh my
pounds since
gosh.
then.
Yeah.
So, I wish I was kidding. He's been participating in a $4,000 workout program. So I probably
none of us
probably won't be doing that one.
have that luxury.
John Mayer is getting his own TV talk show. I don't know anything other than that. There's a link to it here. And Pete Davidson is getting his own apartment. So he's for 3 years.
He's how
lived,
old?
He's lived
Moving out of mom's?
seriously. He's lived in his mother's basement.
Really?
Yeah, and he finally just paid $1.2 million for a 2-bedroom apartment on Staten Island. Apartment includes an open floor plan with city and water views.
He was still in his mom's.
Yeah, if you can get away with it, man. So anyway, I've got a link to that as well in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of RadioSavings.com. Park rangers discovered a 40-acre growth of marijuana in Death Valley National Park. It was near the California-Nevada border. And there's folks that are going, okay, you guys had to have known this was here. Because 40 acres, you know how big that is? That's 40
pretty
acres.
massive.
You know, it's pretty good size. So unless they're really bad park rangers and they're not taking, we never go to that part of the park.
Maybe they knew they were about to get busted and they figured we probably better find
That
this
could be.
before someone else does.
Online, somebody said, well, it's a good thing it was just marijuana. Otherwise, we'd have to rename it Meth Valley.
Okay, I see.
Moving on. SpaceX returned 4 astronauts to Earth this last week, a very rare splashdown landing. It was the first United States splashdown landing since 1968.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Walmart is, here, I don't know if I agree with this, by the way. They're accusing Yeezy brands of stealing their logo. Yeezy brand is Kanye West's brand, and they're saying these logos look identical, but they don't. The Walmart logo has like lines going in different directions.
Okay.
And his has a different number of lines, and it's dots, it's not lines.
Okay.
I'm like, that's not, it's similar. I could see where the other kind of the same, but I don't know. You decide. I've got a link in the show notes if you want to see it. And then I wish these weren't back to back because it kind of feels like I'm trying to connect them, but I'm not. Thousands of genetically modified mosquitoes have begun to be released in Florida as an effort to combat disease-spreading species. So this biotech company in England, Oxitec, is trying to curb the population of a certain type of mosquito that spreads disease, like Zika and other things. So they're actually releasing other mosquitoes, which sounds like kind of a bad idea to me.
That does sound like a bad idea.
And
So
then-
other mosquitoes to eat those mosquitoes?
I don't know. Somehow they're going to take over I just think that's weird. And then this other scientist discovered a new species of venomous tarantula, also in Florida. This one can actually live
Yikes,
for 2
Florida.
decades. 2 decades. They first spotted it in 2012. They just realized now that, hey, this is a whole different species. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to just move on. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you peck out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Super excited to visit with Matt Kunitz. He is the king of reality TV, and you've got the reimagined, relaunched of Wipeout on TBS. Tell me a little bit about this, Matt.
When TBS asked us to bring it back, they said it had to be bigger, bolder, and edgier than ever before, which is, it was a good challenge, but we started right off with bringing in some big star power with John Cena and Nicole Byer and Camille Kostek, and I feel like it is the reimagined Wipeout, and you get to see it through a sort of a new lens of these really fun hosts. And it's the show that America needs right now. You do not have to think when you watch Wipeout. Just sit back and laugh and enjoy and bring the family together.
And when is Wipeout on? If we want to set our DVRs to make sure we catch it, what night of the week and what time?
So we're on Thursdays on TBS at 9 p.m., and it repeats over and over and over again, so you can set your DVR and you won't miss it.
That is awesome. Now, you've had an opportunity to work on a bunch of other programs, and I'm looking at just this list of names. They're all household names. The Real World, Fear Factor. I mean, you go through this, and you've had a chance to do some really cool projects, haven't you?
You know what? I've had a real fun time. I thought that I was going to be a movie producer, and then I saw the first episode of The Real World 30 years ago, and I said, that's what I want to do, and I ended up running that show. So I set my mind to it and did it, and I've never looked back.
And are there other projects along the way that you go, boy, I really wish that we could have done this, but it just didn't get picked up? Like you had this cool idea that maybe we'll see its day one of these days?
Look, we're constantly developing, and there's always ideas that, it's a bummer that one didn't work out, and then there's some that probably shouldn't work out. Like we had an MMA dating show where it was like you were dating like these female MMA fighters. I'm glad that didn't work out. There's a reason that didn't get bought, but there's those, and then you end up with shows like Kevin Hart, What the Fit, or Wipeout, or Fear Factor, or Real World. So you have your hits and misses.
Well, and you've had plenty of hits, which is a darn good thing in the world you live in, isn't it?
It is, and it keeps my kids in college, so that's the good part.
That definitely is. Now, Wipeout on TBS, it's back, and it's bigger and better than ever. And when we say bigger and better than ever, we got to talk about these hosts as well. You mentioned John Cena and Nicole, the two of them hosting this. How in the world did that combination come together?
Believe it or not, it was the network's first choice. We didn't think we would ever be able to get them. John Cena is so busy. He's now, he's a big movie star now with Fast and Furious and Suicide Squad, and Nicole Byer, with Nailed It on Netflix. She was quite busy. It turned out that the executive at Netflix used to be our executive at ABC, so he had a real soft spot for Wipeout, and that's where relationships really helped because, he wanted to do a solid for Nicole and allow her the ability to do another show because, when you're with a network, they can tie you down and keep you from doing other shows. But Brandon very graciously allowed that to happen, and so once we had her, we said, now we have to work it out with John Cena to make these schedules work. The network said whatever it takes. They opened up their pocketbook and said, if we have to move the schedule around to accommodate his schedule, do it. The two of them together are fantastic. And then we brought in Camille Kostek, who is a swimsuit Sports Illustrated model, and she's in the field, and she brings this great energy that the three of them really have revitalized the show.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. We're going to make sure to let folks know Wipeout airs Thursday nights at 9 on TBS. I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Abraham Lincoln's bodyguard left his post to go get a drink.
Oh,
did you know that?
I did not know
So
that.
you might know Abraham Lincoln was shot and killed by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in D.C., April of 1865. But we might not know his bodyguard, John Parker, was supposed to be there, but instead he ran across the street to grab a drink.
How would you like to have to live with that for the rest of your life?
3 hours late for his shift, the next officer left his post. There's a whole litany of things that happened. Anyway, one person was late, another person went to get a drink.
Wow.
And they left the door to the theater unguarded, and that's how he was able to walk right in. So Yeah, I've got the whole story that's got all the details. I'm skimming through it really quickly, but that is today's fun fact. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, RadioTravelGroup.com presents a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Venezuela. This is really sad. A new report says over 90% of Venezuelan households are struggling to find food.
This is awful.
It is. It used to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. That is just really, really sad that now they're struggling to even find food. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all of the details in there.
Please do some research.
It's really, really sad. So that is a news headline from somewhere in this world, brought to you by RadioTravelGroup.com.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. This story is like a week and a half old, but I just, every time I would get to this story, I would have something else that kind of beat it. But I do want to read it because it's an interesting one. 2 intruders broke into a Denny's that was closed. They made themselves some eggs, and then they got chased out by a worker who was actually showing up there to figure out what was going on. Police say 2 offenders entered the kitchen of a Denny's at 2:02 a.m., prepared some eggs. What's a weird thing to do, really? Then a few minutes later, they left at 2:58. They made some more eggs before departing at 3:04. So they left and came back, made some more eggs.
A lot of eggs.
Apparently, they were hungry. Says the door seemed to be open both times, so they don't know why the door was open or how they knew the door was open. But when a worker arrived and confronted them, they were told to leave. It does not indicate how the workers became aware of the intrusion. If identified, the pair could face a misdemeanor. The report indicates they suffered a total estimated loss of how much, Heidi?
I'm going to say $12.
No, $1.
Huh?
$1. That is the funniest part of the story.
Okay, but that's not the menu price.
No,
that's the cost of just the eggs.
But think about the exposure they've gotten over this $1 loss. How many giant brands would go, please, somebody break in and rob us of $1 so we can get all the national exposure? This has been all over the place. It's just a funny story. And it's today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by RadioSavings.com. We talked about this story like a week ago, but I didn't have all the details. So here we go. A VHS movie rented over 20 years ago came back to haunt a woman. She never returned the tape that she rented in Oklahoma. And that landed her in big trouble. First thing she said was, it's a felony embezzlement? So I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Karen McBride said the moment of disbelief for her was just, it was so shocking to her because she had rented a movie called Sabrina the Teenage Witch on VHS 21 years ago. She said, it's a movie I never even rented. I lived with a young man. This was over 20 years ago. We had 2 kids, daughters that were 8, 10, and 11. I'm thinking maybe they got it, but somehow this movie didn't get returned. Wow. So they are dismissing the case. They say she still needs to have the case expunged in order to clear her record. But at first, she thought she was going to go to jail over a VHS tape that she didn't even rent.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it really kind of is. But, you know, the good news is, like I said, they're going to dismiss the case. I think they thought it through. So it's not quite as bad as it could have been, but it's still today's moment of duh.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, But I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you peck out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Heidi, tell me, Laurel Ridge, Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Laurel Ridge.
I'm going to say golf course.
And you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, Laurel Ridge. You've been wrong a lot, by the way.
These have all been rehab centers. I keep thinking, okay, it's going to be.
No, this was also a rehab center. Laurel Ridge.
There's a lot of rehab
There
centers.
are. There's also a lot of golf courses. And their names are very similar, which is why we play Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com. USPS, that's a United States Postal Service mail carrier, saves a person's life. There was a public works employee that hit the ground, and Edward Bamba was helping direct traffic while his crew was fixing a road, and that is when his heart shut down.
Oh.
And he was on the ground convulsing. That's when a United States postal worker, Robert Dillon, saw him, and he started chest compressions. He said, people don't survive what he went through. That's what the wife said. It says, I was blue, I was gone, Edwards recalled. Edward, who's a grandfather, was on a ventilator for 3 days, but now he's on the road to recovery. He said he called Robert to thank him, and he said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
Hero.
Yeah. Says to call him and say thank you was like such an understatement because thank
really.
you isn't even enough.
Thank you is not enough when it comes to something like that. That's
I don't even think he realizes what he did. I mean, he literally saved my husband's life. So what a great thing. And that's one of the things I would encourage every single person to learn a little bit of, CPR and things, life-saving things. And you want to hear the crazy thing. You can literally just click on YouTube and watch videos. I'm not saying that's the best way. I'm just saying you'll get at least an understanding. And if you know that ahead of time, it could save a family member's life. It could save a neighbor's life. It could be a complete stranger, but you could save a life just by knowing a little bit. And then when you watch the video and you go, well, man, I'd like to know more. There are classes all the time that people put on, but I think that's something that would be really, really, really good to know. Heidi has saved numerous lives.
Yes, I have, actually.
She's dislodged Werther's originals from 3 different people.
Yes, I have. Those things are dangerous.
Apparently. So it's like, what was that? It was a Werther's original. I'm like, holy cow.
Again.
How does that keep happening? If you'd like to know more about this story, I've got a link to it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.